DESTROYAH vs. Space Godzilla. DESTROYAH is a crustacean kaiju created by Toho that first appeared in the 1995 Godzilla film, Godzilla vs. DESTROYAH, and is the film's main antagonist. In its first form, DESTROYAH resembles a tiny trilobite, with spiked protrusions emerging from its shell. This form is about a centimeter long, and was first observed consuming fish in an aquarium. Its next form is approximately human-sized, and moves upon 6 crustacean-like legs. This form already sports a horned, crested head similar to that of the final form, but its mouth is insect-like with multiple sets of mandibles. When attacked, the numerous individual juvenile forms merge together into an aggregate form, which is nearly identical to the juvenile form, except much bigger. It now has a pair of spike-pointed arms emerging from its back, as well as an extra protruding jaw that can inject micro-oxygen. Its flying form has greatly reduced limbs, instead has 4 sail-like appendages that function as wings. Its mouth in this form is more reptilian than the rest, and it has a long tail. DESTROYAH repeatedly switches between this form and the aggregate form during the fight with Junior. Its final form is the largest one of all. This form sports bat-like wings, large curved horns on the sides of its head, a humanoid body structure, and a long tail with a pincer at the end. This form's face is more dinosaurian, with a wide mouth filled with sharp teeth, and overall resembles a traditional depiction of a demon. DESTROYAH is often considered one of Godzilla's most merciless and evil foes, along with the Showa King Ghidorah and Space Godzilla. Unlike monsters that kill and destroy unintentionally and act only out of instinct or under mind control, DESTROYAH seems to be fully aware of the death and destruction he causes and takes pleasure in causing it. His cruelty is most visible when he attacks Godzilla Jr. and later kills him when the latter's trying to reunite with his father. While Godzilla is grieving over his son, DESTROYAH attacks him on 2 separate occasions, even appearing to laugh while he drags Godzilla by the neck. This makes DESTROYAH only the second kaiju to attack Godzilla both emotionally and physically, after Space Godzilla. The combined extreme temperatures of G-Force's ULT weapons and Godzilla's meltdown are what ultimately killed DESTROYAH, as he was in extreme pain. Space Godzilla's origins have always been rather ambiguous. It's confirmed that he's indeed a clone of Godzilla originating from outer space, but the exact details behind his creation have varied. In Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, the human characters hypothesized that samples of Godzilla's DNA were somehow cast into space, mutated into a partially crystalline lifeform after being swallowed up by a black hole, which then came out from a white hole. It's not known for certain what brought the DNA into space, but possibilities are suggested. One being that after leaving Earth in 1993, Mothra unwittingly carried pieces of Godzilla's genetic material that came onto her during her battle with him. Another possibility is that the DNA came from Biollante, another creature born from Godzilla's DNA, who, after fighting Godzilla in 1989, disintegrated into a cloud of spores that floated off into outer space. Space Godzilla's abilities and strengths include telekinesis, the ability to summon crystals, and use them in creative ways such as missiles and traps, mind control to some degree, flight, a beam from his mouth, and a force field. DESTROYAH doesn't have any psychokinetic powers like Space Godzilla, but makes up for it with a devastating arsenal and the ability to change form. Dr. Serizawa's Oxygen Destroyer, the only weapon definitively proven to be effective at eliminating Godzilla, also transformed what was formerly a Precambrian microorganism into a ruthlessly effective killing machine. DESTROYAH never needed oxygen to survive. Being exposed to the Oxygen Destroyer not only mutated it to a huge kaiju, but gave it the ability to use the weapon's devastating power in battle. This leads to DESTROYAH being able to dissolve fish when in microscopic form, creating devastating blasts from its mouth in a larger form, and being able to inject Godzilla Jr. with a fatal dose. DESTROYAH also has incredible toughness, a frightening inner mouth like the Xenomorph, and enough strength to pick Godzilla up by the tail. It's very likely that DESTROYAH is stronger than Space Godzilla, at least as an opponent that Godzilla has fought against. No other kaiju has faced off against a supercharged Godzilla and survived long. Kaiser Ghidorah in Godzilla Final Wars, and Mechagodzilla in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 all perished very quickly once Godzilla received extra energy of some kind. But Destroyah not only fought against Desu Goji, one of the strongest Godzillas ever, but Destroyah came close to beating him. This would make Destroyah stronger than Space Godzilla, and one of Godzilla's deadliest enemies. 80% goes to Destroyah. What do you think?